Hey guys! The first episode from season 6 is finally out, and that being episode 2, Illustrhater. So today we are going to be analyzing everything from the characters' new designs and season 6 intro, Lila's mysterious appearances, and a scene that changes everything and had me reacting like this. Oh my gosh. No, I was not expecting this. Not this early either. So buckle up and grab a snack because we've got a lot to discuss. The very first scene we see is of Lila sitting in a massive chair surrounded by hundreds of books, which appear to be her journals, which means that she's been documenting everything. But why? It made sense in the London special. We saw she was going back and forth in time while also dealing with the side effects of being there when the wish was made by Gabriel. So in order to prevent her from losing her memory or of her plan failing the first time, she wrote everything down. This further convinces me that Lila is not from this timeline, but rather one perhaps where Ladybug and Cat Noir are adults. In the episode Time Tagger, it's teased that Lila would be the next holder of the Butterfly Miraculous, and likely the one that akumatized Time Tagger. But how could Lila have still been the holder of the Butterfly Miraculous for that many years, if not for already having been from that timeline to begin with? We hardly know anything about Lila, including her age. For all we know, she could be older than Ladybug, she could be younger, or the same age. In this scene, we can also see the Butterfly Miraculous on her desk and Nuru paralyzed. It looks like Nuru's wings have changed, and I'm wondering if that has to do with the influence of Lila using him. And the last frame of this scene shows Lila's leg between the crevice of her mountain of journals, and we can see that she's wearing black boots, gray tights, and a black hoodie. Over with Marinette and Alya, we can see the two exhausted while attempting to figure out anything they can on who the new holder of the Butterfly Miraculous could be, and we get to see what the new version of Alya's Miraculous in camouflage mode will look like. So while Marinette continues to panic, Alya reminds her that she has a whole team of superheroes now to help her, which is when Marinette brings up a good point in that what if one of the holders get akumatized and the new holder of the Butterfly Miraculous gets a hold of their Miraculous? While Alya reassures her that things will be different this time, it still is a possibility nonetheless. Throughout a lot of this episode, we see Marinette struggling to get a hold of herself while around Adrien, since the two are now an official couple, and so much so to the point where she needs Alya and Nino around to learn from. And honestly, I feel like Alya and Nino were like the stars of this episode. This is when we get the brand new season 6 intro for Miraculous, and it has changed a lot. I love it though, it still feels like Miraculous, and I love that we can see the other heroes be a part of it while still allowing for Adrianette to have their moments to shine. The Adrianette hug at the very beginning is so adorable, but wait until the very end of the intro because we even get a kiss from them. This season is already starting off so good for Adrianette, and then we just have Lady Noir with a little high five. I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, but let's take a closer look at everybody else's new designs. Starting from the left side, we can see Felix in a very similar outfit to his previous one, and the same can go for Kagami, who is holding his arm and her hair just looks a little bit shorter. Next up is Ivan and Milen, and they have changed so much, but I actually love it. Both of their outfits have changed along with their hair, and you guys, I have never been a Milen hater. She also never really stood out to me, but I think she looks so adorable in the new style. It's always nice to see Alex when she's not having to spend her days in the barrow, and Nathaniel and Mark are looking so cute and maybe even holding hands. Nino and Alya look relatively the same with just their hair changing the most. Julika and Rose look so cute together, though I don't like the green lip gloss for Julika.
Oh my gosh.
Is that my boy Luca? It's hard to tell if his outfit has really changed, but he looks good. Look at Sabrina. You know who she reminds me of? Maddie from Arcane. She looks great, as does Zoe with a new streak of blue in her hair. And last but not least, we can see Max and Kim, who also have changed ever so slightly, but still look great in the new animation. I like that in this intro, we can see how Gabriel/Monarch still haunts Marinette, and now with everyone being permanent holders of their Miraculouses, we get to see this new feature in Ladybug Ladybug's yo-yo that makes it so much more convenient for her to call up on other heroes by just tapping on their icon and them being notified wherever they are, whenever. In this intro, we also get to already see what everybody's new hero designs will look like, and I won't go too in depth on them, but I'm really pleased with how everyone looks. I think out of everyone, Pigella, Caprikid, and Miss Hound are my favorites when it comes to the new designs, but I'd love to know what you guys think below. And at the very end of the intro, we can see Lila in her still anonymous form, grabbing all of the heroes in her grasp. And carrying on into the episode, there were so many moments that had me actually laughing out loud, like when Marinette tries to imitate Alya with Nino and just completely fails. But there were also times where it was really hard not to cringe. But overall, I love seeing the main four hanging out together because it's always nice to just see the characters interacting with each other outside of being heroes. I will also say that sometimes the expressions in the new style is a bit much, but I'm still super impressed with the new animation. But it's just a matter of more episodes coming out and getting more and more used to the style. During their bus ride, a massive crack in the bridge forms, and this is when Rena and Carapace step in to help, and it's specified by Alya that unless it's an akumatized villain, they are allowed to help. So the two of them manage to fix the problem seamlessly, and even Marinette goes to say that Rena Rouge has literally thought of everything, which will come into play later on in this episode. Alya and Nino end up leaving Marinette and Adrien together to enjoy their date alone, but we still see Marinette freaking out, which personally I find annoying because we've seen so much progress over the last season, only for it now to all have been washed down the drain. But things do get better towards the end of this episode, which we'll get into. Finally, as Marinette musters up the courage to hold Adrien's hand, she of course holds a stranger's hand. And like, this is another moment that actually had me laughing. I don't mind these scenes, it's just when it's so over the top, and we've gotten moments like this in season 5, which just makes me confused as to why we see Marinette having such a hard time. This is when we see Marinette beginning to avoid spending any time with Adrien alone, and instead gets herself involved with all of the other heroes' side missions for the day, like Ryuko putting out a fire, Milan fetching a ball, and Miss Hound getting a cat. I felt that pain. Over with Alya and Nino, we can see the two interviewing people who have previously been akumatized by the new holder of the Butterfly Miraculous, which is when it's revealed by the mayor, who is Mrs. Bustier, that she heard several voices talking to her that would blend together. I am wondering if we will get to see Miss Bustier get akumatized this season, possibly in the first episode. We do know that the first episode is titled Climatic Queen, which we will be getting that episode at the end of February. But Mrs. Bustier has always been a very passionate person about climate and the earth, so perhaps she'll be the one to get akumatized in that episode. The akumatized villain in this episode, however, is a little girl who is named Maya, and she gets akumatized after she's unable to get anyone's attention to look at her drawings, and when she attempts to get her dad's attention, he yells at her out of frustration because he thought Adrien and Marinette had left his cafe without paying. Meanwhile, the money Adrien left just happened to have blown away. So this is a lesson, always put the cash under the clip. This is when we see Lila, well, not technically, because her true form has yet to be revealed, and I honestly think that is smart. They know the fans want to see what she's gonna look like, so they could very well get away with not showing us what her true look is going to be until midway through the season, or even until the finale. In this moment, Lila takes advantage of Maya's emotions and manipulates her into offering her these powers, and I love the way Lila goes, "And what should I call you?" This to me is a huge upgrade from the previous seasons, and I'm just saying, I would gladly get akumatized. Illustrhater, now on the loose, is bringing her drawings to life and screaming. She is actually so funny, and what just happened here?
Cat Noir, are you okay?
As Illustrhater nears close to being defeated, this is when Lila interferes, and in her thoughts tells her that she can't tell Ladybug and Cat Noir anything about her. This is when Rena Rouge asks Maya, aka Illustrhater, if the man who gave her these powers will tell her his name, which is when it's revealed that it's neither a man nor a woman. This frustrates Lila and prompts her to make a deal with Illustrhater to get Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous in order to keep these powers forever. Not only are the new akumatization masks beautiful, but also the akumatization pumas. One of my favorite moments from this episode is when we see Ladybug talking to Maya, because it almost looks like Ladybug is talking to a younger version of herself, and it's just so sweet. Maya is then given a magical charm, and in return, Ladybug is given one of her drawings. By the end of the episode, we actually see Alya frustrated now over the fact that they still don't know anything about the new holder of the butterfly Miraculous, which is when Marinette reassures her that they have learned new things, and all throughout this episode, it's shown time and time again what a valuable asset Alya is to the team, which is when she is presented a Quagatama from Tiki.
Oh my gosh. No, I was not expecting this. Not this early either.
This means that if anything were to ever happen to Marinette, Alya would be the next in line to take up the role of being Guardian. This totally took me by surprise because one of my theories going into this season was that we would get to see Adrien receive a Quagatama, and I still have my fingers crossed for that, so it really surprised me to see Alya get one, and not from Trix, but Tiki. Could you guys imagine Alya being the new Guardian, and having scenes of her interacting with Marinette / Ladybug because they get to communicate with past holders? Another theory that I had mentioned in this video, which I'll have linked below, is that I wanted to see Lila possibly get a Quagatama from Nuru, though I think the chances are slim just because it has to be gifted from the Kwami. I don't think it's something that could necessarily be forced, but just imagine how crazy it would be to see Lila interacting with Monarch. The fact that they've now set this up that Alya is confirmed to be the next Guardian and holder of the Ladybug Miraculous is so crazy, and while it does worry me, I like to remind myself that we did get a little glimpse of adult Ladybug and Cat Noir, so finally we get to see Adrienne having their moment at the movie theaters, because earlier Marinette totally bailed on Adrien and he waited in the line until the movie was nearly done even though he got tickets. So I was so happy to see them finally behaving like themselves. And the actual last scene of this episode is of Lila at the same cafe that we saw Marinette and Adrien at earlier, and again we still can't see her face, we can hardly see her outfit. All we know is that she is writing everything down in her journals, and she goes to say nothing. You'll know nothing about me, about us, about them. I'm everywhere. I'm nowhere. I'm a chameleon. Nowhere. You won't get anywhere. She's obviously talking to Ladybug, but I'm wondering if she's referring to more than just herself and her identity, but rather also the Supreme or whoever is controlling her, if that is the case. But as always, what did you guys think of the first episode that we got to see from season 6? Personally, I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to love this season so much more than I thought I was. We've got a ton of episodes coming our way next month in February. However, Gloob is now on board with premiering season 6, and they did beat Disney US by a day for showing the first episode from season 6. So while I'm sharing with you all of these dates on the screen that come from Disney US, we can very well expect Gloob to air the episodes a day, few days sooner, who knows. This is Editing Maya here, and I am here to report that Gloob is indeed sharing the episodes a day before Disney US. This Friday on January 31st at 7:45 p.m. local time, Gloob will be sharing episode 3 most likely, even though they've yet to announce it. So as always, be sure to let me know your thoughts and theories down below, and subscribe so you never miss the tea on the show you love. And an extra special thanks to my Celestial Guardian channel members, Libby, Mandine, F.A., John, Simply Noah, and Eric Schwalls. And I'll see you guys in the next one.